Okay, I have a question here. Hello, Kurt. Sorry for the late reply. My grandmother is in the hospital right now and the doctors don't think that she's going to make it. Oh, I'm sorry. So I flew down to see her with my family and we just arrived not too long ago. Don't worry, I'm not going to give out any personal information. This is all anonymous. On another note, I had a curiosity about Japan, and I always wanted to know, am I the only one who thinks this? To me, when I think of Japan or watch a video filmed in Japan, and even one of yours, I feel a sense of power and at the same time of tranquility. And I am young, 17 years, and I thought maybe it's my unexperienced mind that makes me think like that. Maybe others don't see Japan as a sacred place. For example, when I see a country like Australia, it is beautiful. However, it does not have that feeling of power and purity as Japan. I guess my question is, am I simply really attached to the Japanese culture? Therefore, is that why I see it that way, or is it society that makes Japan be that way and have that pure influence on people? Perhaps it is just how Japan has always been and will always be that sacred place in this world. I hope that you can answer this. I suppose thought of mine. Thank you in advance. P.S. If you want to share this by video, you do have my permission to do so. Okay, and that's done. Yes and no. Japan is a unique, special, segregated in terms of, been separated from the rest of the world for a long time, place that no longer segregated. Well, to a degree it still is. That has a unique character. It's like if you took people and had them live on some remote place for long enough, they would become something unique. And the Japanese are like that. The concept of sacred is something that's important here. The Japanese are very disciplined. They control their emotions. They control their actions. They work as a team. They are the embodiment of the cohesive group. To be social, to fit properly in the social elements of Japanese society is above all. It's not an individual culture for the individual. It's a culture for the group. And as a result, you get a lot of that. You get that impression that things are very spiritual and very peaceful and very in great harmony. And it is true. It is true. You can't deny it. On the flip side, there's a lot that comes with that. Remember, these are people just like anybody else, and they are when they toe the line like that, they have to give up something to toe the line and to abide the standards of the culture, and that is their individuality. Japanese people are highly conformist and not only reluctant, but in some ways seemingly unable to exercise their own will and individual expression that is not within the confines of what is kosher, what is okay. Now, all cultures do that, but in some cultures, such as my own in the United States, bucking the system is part of the system. So, you know what I mean? Being a rebel is an admired thing. So it's a funny thing how we are basically the same, but the way our culture is in the United States, it gives us license to freedom that the Japanese don't have. So, to put it another way, to an outsider, Japan appears to be a paradise. To the Japanese, it may not be quite that way, because they see the freedoms that people in other countries have, and a lot of them long for that, even though they don't know how to do it because they weren't raised that way. It's this strange thing where they you want to do that, but some of them, not all of them, but some of them want to do that, but they really don't know how. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a paradise, and I certainly wouldn't call it sacred in terms of being any different from the rest of the world. We're all human beings, and we hold different things sacred. Americans hold independence is sacred, and freedom is sacred. Japanese hold conformity and towing the party line, sort of the same thing as sacred. So the last part is that part of this is your age. As you get older, you will begin to see that human beings are simply human beings, and that there is no place that is necessarily better off. Although in some ways you can really see that way. There are some European countries where the standard of living is very high, and people have a good life, and it definitely is. So I take that back. I mean, you can definitely live better. You think you can definitely live better in Japan than you could in some places in the world where there's war and conflict, famine, and things like that. Likewise, likewise, probably better. You're probably better off in Sweden than Afghanistan, especially if you're a woman. So there is that. So, but for the most part, Japan is another first world nation with its bonuses and its drawbacks. So there was one other part that you asked about. Oh, when you're seeing it through the lens, when you're watching videos, you're seeing a very refined view. I don't turn the camera on when I'm having a hard day necessarily. I don't show you the drudgery of my job sometimes and the difficult times I face. I sometimes do, but for the most part, you see the fun stuff. So yeah, you're getting it through a filter in that capacity. I hope things work out well with your grandmother, my friend, and thank you for asking a question. Take care.